Well, I was a producer in the business for 9 years. I started in 1997, just shooting some photos for an amateur website. The bandwidth on the internet wasn't good enough for video yet, and then from that site turned out to be pretty popular amongst people. So when other companies learned that I was producing for them, they thought, you could probably produce for us too. So slowly my business grew, and by the end of my career, I had a network of porn sites of my own that had 12 million visitors a month coming to it, and I also produced for Playboy for the last 18 months, amongst others. The main reason I was there was, number one, because I liked porn, and number two, I had a lot of anger and bitterness toward God. I thought I was raised a pastor's son, so I thought that all the hypocrisy that I witnessed in the church growing up just reflected on God. I was confusing God basically with those who claimed to represent him, and so I started producing porn, and my main motivation was that anger and bitterness. So the money was fine, that was good, but that got old. Being around the naked girls was fine, but that got old really quick. But what kept me in was that anger. And so how I got out was a missionary group called XXX Church. They started showing up at our porn conventions and in Las Vegas, Nevada. And instead of being the people outside picketing and screaming at us and telling us that we're going to go to hell, which does nothing but enrage us further, instead they were inside like doing makeup for the porn stars and telling them that they're beautiful and that there's nothing that could ever change the fact that God loves them, and if they need help, then they're there to assist them. And they were just non-judgmental, because they believed that if you were Jesus in skin, that it would change people's hearts. And over the course of 4 years, their approach and seeing all the different things that they were doing, it tore down that hatred. And as the hatred became less and less, I was more and more aware of what I was doing to people, and it just came a point where I couldn't do it anymore. That actually came on the day when Playboy offered me an additional $4,000 a day to shoot a new lesbian reality series. And on that day, as I was driving home from that offer, I was praying, which is something I'd started doing again, and I just had this cocky attitude. I was like, God, it doesn't seem to matter what I do, you want to bless me, as if I was thanking him for my porn contract. And I'd also been challenging him to even show me that he was real. And as crazy as it sounds, right after I prayed that prayer, I felt electricity, like electricity pass through my body. It was like, it didn't seem like I was being punished. It was more like, okay, you've been wanting me to show you that I'm real, and here it is. You have a decision to make today. That's what I really felt. I pulled over to the side of the freeway because I'd been driving at the time, and my hands were shaking, and I just thought, I'm just not going to do this anymore, because God just, proved himself real to me. I was like, what competes with that? And so that was the last time I produced.